Can you maybe speak to, you mentioned briefly earlier in the conversation about the first company that you built and sold and kind of what that was and what it taught you that you've now applied to Hoppin, for
Yeah.
example?
Yeah, the first company I started was in 2014. It was a construction company. It was in the construction realm, but all I was a sales team for smaller contractors that couldn't sell themselves. And I grew it very, very rapidly from basically $0. I did 1.8 million my first year, 3.6 million my second year, 6.5 million my third year. And in that process, I grew so quickly that I ended up having to hire individuals. It was really never the goal to hire my own team other than salespeople. So I ended up having 50 plus employees, 200 plus contractors running around Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina, and some in Texas. And all I did again was broker services, anything from pressure washing to concrete to drywall framing, full turnkey jobs, just depending on what the project was. And it was all bigger projects, multifamily, hospitals, hotels, high rises, office upfits, and high rises, things like that. So again, this sales aspect was if I can sell, I can do anything. Having the ability to sell was what that business was all about. And I created amazing relationships with general contractors, and I picked up my phone when they called, and I showed up when I said I was going to show up. And that's something that kind of lacks in that dinosaur kind of construct. Technology is arising and becoming more prominent in construction than what it was back in 2014. But I just kind of found a niche in the market and was very successful, and it snowballed into me selling it for multi millions in 2 months into my fourth year. But what I learned from it was one, I don't want to be the guy in the business, and I don't want any of our franchisees to be kind of the guy where you have to be on 24/7, 7 days a week. And that's why when I started these other companies, I started to say, okay, I need to build something where we can have great teams or great people, but I can lead at a very high level with culture and making sure that my team knows that I'm there to support them, but not having every customer call me. So the learning experience in the construction world was really so much. I mean, there were so many things that I went through that were very, very stressful. And then so many things that, I was making more money than I ever thought I would make, but I also wasn't living life. I was working 16, 17, 18-hour days, 6, 7 days a week and not doing anything. I would skip people's weddings, people's parties, different holidays with family because I was so indulged and engulfed in my business. And that really opened my eyes once I sold it. It was one of the reasons I wanted to sell was to get out of that kind of cycle and being able to build something now that is more of an investment manager opportunity for our candidates across the country with Hopin is a dream, right? I mean, it's something that I've always loved. How many people can I help along the way? And in my construction industry, I had the ability to do that with so many subcontractors and help them build their companies up. And there's no different now where I'm being able to help individuals and some team around me, and then also candidates across the country start their first company or open up their first business.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I'm curious with the construction company, how did you broker the deals or how did you find the deals that these contractors or subcontractors were unaware of? Were you just
Yeah.
marketing? Were you really good at marketing, or did you have a network of people that you knew were building an apartment building and you were able to connect somebody? How did that work?
Yeah, it was all new construction, so I was just walking into construction trailers. Once I saw a trailer go up, or I saw a crane go up in the air, I was walking into those and shaking hands and introducing myself. Again, people do business with people they like, and I've just kind of always been able to adapt to different clientele, different people, and just be likable. And a lot of those I walked into, and they said, "Yeah, we actually need help with this," and I'd never done anything of that sort of business ever in my life, and I would say, "Yep, I can make that happen." I'd walk out of the trailer. I'd pick up my phone and try and find a subcontractor that could do it because I had no idea what it was or how to do it. So a lot of it I was selling early on, and I might not have had the subcontractor to do it. I might not have knew what it was all about, but I knew that there was somebody out there smarter than me that could get the job done. And it just snowballed. And then that industry is very buddy buddy. It's very relationship based. And once, a job is done, usually that contractor or that project manager or superintendent might go to a new job with the same company or go to a new company and have a new job. So word just got around. If you need something done, call Rich and call One Alliance. And to this day, that company it's grown probably two or threefold. The guy I sold it to has done an amazing job over the last 6 years since I sold it, 6, 7 years since I sold it. And it's obviously a concept that works very well. And he's expanded into different cities in Nashville and Atlanta and a couple other cities across the East Coast. So really, really cool to see that, I grew something that was has continued success, and the ability for us to kind of just sell something that to me was good faith. I really didn't have contracts in place at that point. There was definitely some contracts, but they were smaller contracts and nothing long term, just one time jobs.
Yeah, now that you've explained it, I could see how that could kind of consume your entire life, where you're making all these connections and you're building this network, which is great. But a contractor or project manager can call you at any hour of the day or night, and then you kind of have to jump on it. So
Yeah, there was never a time where my phone was being rung and somebody was saying, "Hey, Rich, I appreciate all the help you gave us on that job." It was, "Hey, where are your guys at? Here's the next thing. We don't really care what you did for us. We need to continue growing and continue building." So getting into ice cream and the bars was always something that was like, man, this is a breath of fresh air.